Let's see how to use Lightroom's lens correction features found over here in the right panel under lens corrections. Let me go ahead and open that up. And with profile selected and select enable profile corrections, you can see that Lightroom has determined the make of the camera that I used to take this photograph based on the EXIF data associated with that image file. It's a Nikon. And it was shot with a Nikon fisheye 10.5 millimeter lens. It has a profile loaded for that specific lens, and it has applied that profile to remove the distortion. If I want, down here under Amount, I can tweak the settings a little bit, moving the distortion slider left and right, and also vignetting left and right. If your lens and camera combination does not show up here automatically under lens profile, you can create your own lens profile using the Adobe Lens Profile Creator. It's free, it's available at the Adobe Labs website. Okay, so this was a pretty dramatic example of how an image can be improved using the automatic or custom settings built into Lightroom. Let me go over to another example that may not be quite as dramatic. It has its own set of problems. Here, I'm going to go over and select Enable Profile Corrections, and Lightroom has once again found the make of the camera and the lens, in this case the 14 to 24 millimeter lens, and it has a profile that it has applied. Now the change is not that dramatic. The fact is that the problem with this image has to do with keystoning, the fact that I photographed holding the camera pointed upwards at this building. So I'm going to go over to the manual setting here and see if I can compensate for that keystoning using the transform commands. Let me walk through the different options you have here. First, under distortion, if I move this slider to the left, you can see how the distortion is affected there, and I'll move it to the right. Now, this is not helping the keystoning problem, so let me leave that at its default. Under the vertical option now, I'm pretty sure this is where I'm going to get some help. And sure enough, by lining up the vertical grid that appears automatically when I click and drag, I can line up the edge of the building. I don't want to go too far because I'm going to crop off the top. I'm going to give it about, let's see, right about there. That's a happy medium. So it's not perfect, but it's pretty close. Let me show you what horizontal does. It's not going to be useful in this particular image. It might be for another image that I'm trying to transform. And rotate also is available, and scale. All right, so once I've got my transform slider set, if I select constrain crop, watch what happens. It will automatically crop the image to the edges of the area that's unused. I can also adjust the lens vignetting slider here and the midpoint. So there you have it, lens corrections in Lightroom. One more really cool feature.